stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming.
Hi, I'm Marian Giannopoulos, Superintendent of the Lake Orion Community Schools, and I'm here at Pine Tree Center, and you've just had the opportunity to hear two of our students welcome all of you with the national anthem. Our series today in Inside the Dragons, which is our October edition of news and events that we want to share with you, begins with a program that we are doing in our elementary schools run by our new elementary science coaches called Phenomenal Science. So you have the chance to see what the science coaches are doing with our students as well as with our staff in professional development. Secondly, you'll see at the high school where we have inducted 4 new members to the Wall of Fame. These are 4 alumni of our high school who have graduated and gone on to have major accomplishments and successes in their life beyond high school. And that's really very exciting. And this is the class of 2018, joining 4 others who were inducted last year. Then the program will follow me working with some of our students and getting their opinions about the bond proposal that's on the November 6th ballot. I had the opportunity to talk to some of the kids, and they told me what they thought about some of the projects. And so that's really very enlightening for me as a superintendent. And then Penny Schultz, who is the clerk in Orion Township, has been at the high school and is registering some of our students who will be eligible to vote in the election. And you'll have a chance to see that in action. And then finally, this has been our homecoming week, and so we've had a tremendous number of different activities and events that we will share with you in this video. Thank you so much.
With a long, rich history, Lake Orion Community Schools has produced many notable alumni. Spanning every walk of life, the thousands of students over the years have each progressed through careers that made their teachers and their community proud, which reinforced how important Lake Orion High School's Wall of Excellence is to tying that history together. The second class was inducted and introduced in mid-September. A group of 4 unique individuals: broadcaster Greg Bowman, Air Force pilot James Ramirez, scientist Bo Zhao, and footwear designer Caroline Schwierstick. They were nominated by friends and relatives, and a committee weighed the merits of all nominees before settling on the class.
I'm really flattered. I'm really honored to be here. Actually, it was really unexpected. Of course, it was a fairly new initiative started by the school, and I think it's really good for the students to see such a diversity of careers that someone can have after they leave high school. And even if they originally set out to do some particular thing or pursue a certain career, they can learn about how different alumni have grown their careers and maybe changed over time. In my family, my parents are always my best role models. But teachers here have also had an impact on my life, giving me ideas on things that I could pursue. So for example, I ended up doing a PhD, but I didn't really know very much about that path, and relied on teachers to kind of give me that information and help me realize all of the things that I could do.
Oh, this is a wonderful experience, a chance I'm truly honored to be part of this Wall of Excellence. So I want to thank the committee for that, my sister for nominating me, and a chance to maybe talk to some students and show them that anything's possible. Wide range of inductees, so I'm proud to be a Lake Orion Dragon. I wouldn't really imagine it, but looking back, I really see how with the academics and the coaching that I got, when I ended up in boot camp, Navy boot camp right after graduation, total breeze, and I was so prepared. So it was a great springboard to life.
Well, I'm honored to be a part of this and to have been selected, and happy to be representing the art department. And it's just great to be back in my high school. I did, for the most part. I always knew that I would be going to art school in New York City. I didn't know that I would get into footwear design at all. That kind of happened as my career progressed. But in terms of college and where I was going to live, I knew where I wanted to be. I was part of the swim team, the tennis team, so I was active in sports. All positive. It was a great experience, and it's great to be in this environment again.
The day began at school when Sphere-Stick and Zhao visited classes, with Zhao speaking to a large number of students in the kiva. That was followed by the induction ceremony, where each member had family and friends attending to hear their appreciation and see their plaques.
It is certainly my pleasure to welcome you here this evening for our second Lake Orion High School Wall of Excellence induction ceremony. My name is Steve Hawley, and as principal of the high school, it gives me great pride to present to you today what we really believe is a very educationally relevant project that has created a link between Lake Orion High School excellence of the past, the present, and the future. Tonight you will hear about 4 tremendous Lake Orion High School graduates that all went on to truly excel in their given fields. Through the nomination process and the final selection of tonight's inductees, we were reminded over and over again what a great community and a great school district Lake Orion has been for so many people, and the outstanding talent that this school district has produced.
So I brought my yearbook to prove that I actually did attend not this high school, the one across the street, that it was a one-room school, at that time. When I first heard about this Wall of Fame, I thought someone had told me Hall of Shame is what I was being inducted into. But seriously, it's such an unexpected reward, pleasure. I always told people when I was in school, my only skill was talking, so I had to find some kind of occupation where you could actually get paid for doing that. And I thank my mother, I guess, right, Terry, for that gift of gab.
Well, inductees, distinguished guests, and Kyle, thank you for having me follow the professional broadcaster. I'm not going to be as light on my feet. I'm really humbled and honored to be part of this distinguished previous class and this class, and among, I know, many more distinguished graduates still to come from Lake Orion High School. It is truly humbling.
So I grew up in the middle of nowhere, China. It was the type of place where you had to get water from the town spigot, and you had to burn things for fuel for cooking. And today I'm here. And it's not because I did amazing things right and left, right? It's because of my family and the choices they made. It's because of the teachers I had and how they guided me, and friends and mentors along the way as well. And so I'm very humbled and honored by this award and this recognition. And I really have to thank all of those people who really affected and influenced my life, especially my parents.
Thank you. First, I just want to thank the school for recognizing me in this surprise honor. Being the most recent graduate, I'm still feeling like I have a lot left to accomplish, so I hope that there can be additions to that plaque in the future. I have to thank my art teacher, Mrs. Wilson, who nominated me for this award, and for fostering and Lake Orion for fostering such an environment of building confidence and pursuing a career in the arts. And then I have to thank my parents and family, brother, mom and dad who are here, for always encouraging me to stick with art and pursue it as a career.
That was followed by an honor at halftime of the football game, where each was introduced and brought to midfield to be honored by the Dragon Stadium crowd. The long tradition of Dragons flowed through all of the distinguished alums, realizing they were a part of the long thread through Lake Orion. The Wall of Excellence is a lasting reminder to students that they can achieve great heights and leave their mark, possibly to return for that wall someday. For those interested in nominating an alum for the 2019 Wall of Excellence, visit lakeorionschools.org for more information. Lake Orion Community Schools is proud of its cutting-edge approach to education at all levels, which is much of what drove the decision last year to invest in and expand elementary science programs, embracing the STEM concepts that are producing some of the most productive citizens working their way into the business world. When the Board of Education approved the Science Plus program last year, district administrators spent the year envisioning and planning what the curriculum would look like. It begins with the young learners and how science can be interactive, which meant finding the ideal teachers to lead the programs. Andrea Brooke, Pam Mormon, and Amy Baum each had different backgrounds and came from different schools, but had a passion to share science. Their drive was apparent early in the school year, as they were engaging students and seeing the spark that emerges from hands-on science lessons.
I have most recently participated in the piloting of the possible science programs that we might adopt here in Lake Orion, and I was very lucky to have gone through that process and help make the decision on what curriculum we're going to adopt, and that we went with the phenomenal science. I'm really excited. I think our district has made the right decision on that. So I've been along that process. I've had NGSX training recently, and I've taken on lots of different leadership roles in the district and helped on the Balanced Literacy Committee and presented at different events here in Lake Orion and professional development and led teachers through those kinds of things as well.
Okay, so I started teaching in Lake Orion in 1999. This was actually my second teaching position ever, and I came in a big buyout year, and I was one of the newer teachers here in the science department and taught all different classes, and really quickly just loved the work environment and the ability to try new things. And Lake Orion's always been so innovative and really encouraging of us kind of getting out of our comfort zone and trying things out. And as a science teacher, I really appreciated that. So I taught everything here at the high school from biology, AP biology, chemistry classes, zoology. I spent a year at Oakview Middle School, and I loved that, just trying something new, and met some fantastic staff there. So I think a real constant for me throughout my career has just been the phenomenal teachers that I've worked with, and the caliber of professionals that's in this district, I think, is just unmatched anywhere else in Oakland County.
When we moved here, I had a young son, 2, and so they started their journey through Lake Orion schools, and then the third one came along, and all 3 of them have now gone through Lake Orion schools. I started subbing when the youngest went to kindergarten, and then long-termed, and then fortunately was able to secure a position in Lake Orion schools, and so I've journeyed right along with my kids. What I've always found is that my most struggling kids, who may struggle in reading or may struggle in writing or may struggle in math, always excel in science because the passion that they have. And so taking those hands-on investigative opportunities and letting those kids shine, they're just going to continue to grow.
The 3 teachers were in district classroom roles, then were selected to become elementary science coaches. That meant designing the curriculum, planning when and how it would be implemented in the 6 elementary schools, and then executing it. Andrea Brooke took it a step further, debuting with a lab coat on the job, showing her enthusiasm. Amy Baum and Pam Mormon's lessons connected with the students. They dove into the mix, engaging the students in lessons about design, results, and their analysis. The first year of the expanded elementary science program will quickly expand students' interest and capacity to absorb science. And the long-term benefits are just as important, training our future leaders to save the world. With the November election just around the corner, Orion Township Clerk Penny Schultz brought her job to the young people earlier this fall. Schultz set up shop at Lake Orion High School and registered students to vote in their first election after turning 18 years old. The students who registered and are looking forward to their first election as an official voter appreciated the visit from Schultz, who had all of the materials on site and prepared for them.
I think it's important to have a say in the United States and have a choice of who leads the country, what decisions happen within the country. I just think it's super important to have a say and have a voice.
How much does it help that you're able to do this in school without having to go to a polling place to vote or to register or a clerk's office?
It makes it really convenient because you're at school 7-8 hours a day already. So I mean, it doesn't even hurt to come over, take 5 minutes out of your day and just register real quick.
I registered to vote because I think it's important to have a say in your government even at such a young age, and especially to vote on the bond issue that's currently coming up in the community now.
November 6 is rapidly approaching, and with a number of major issues on the ballot, including a vote for governor of Michigan, the new voters can see an immediate impact of their voice. The Lake Orion Community Schools bond proposal is listed on the ballot for the November 6 election, and the LOCS administration has shared information with the community. In public presentations, on social media, the website at locsbond.org, even in mailings, the information about the bond proposal is widely circulated and available. But the group that will see the most change if it passes is the students. So LOCS Superintendent Marian Giannopoulos went to them to share information and to get their feedback. It was a new discussion for most of the students in Tom Romito's government class, and Mrs. Giannopoulos asked them what needs to be improved.
What concerns might you have, that's kind of an assumption, about the facility? Maybe you don't have any.
The computer loading times.
What's that?
The computer loading times.
Tell me a little bit more.
Takes like 10 minutes to log onto a computer, so you're just wasting class time just waiting for the computer to turn on and log you on.
Okay. Yes.
The conditions of the bathrooms, specifically the ones in the commons, because well, for one, a lot of the sinks, like, they have very inconsistent water pressure. They'll spray all over the place sometimes. Some of the urinals actually overflow, which is interesting. And then there are often stall doors missing. There are some locks also that are broken off, but general conditions, it's not very satisfactory to go to the bathroom here.
The students shared what they knew about the bond proposal.
Who knows what a bond proposal is? Yes.
Pretty sure it's when the government, whether it's state or federal, is willing to grant money to the school to allow us to do a specific task or maybe just something that we want to do.
Okay. Let me elaborate on that because it's a little bit more. It definitely is about money. And a bond issue is something that the school district will go to the voters and ask them to vote to sell bonds. And the bonds are sold to individuals or to businesses or to corporations and so forth to fund this bond. And what the bonds do in our project is to renovate really the whole district.
She addressed the major programs in the bond and related the areas that affected their lives and their building.
So it really is a very complex. So part of the bond proposal is to really address the whole CERC complex. And so let me tell you a little bit about CERC. CERC is, how old do you think CERC is? You know, it was the original high school. The one 62 years old, so it's pretty old too. And it has a lot of issues, as do all the other schools. So the plan at CERC is to really kind of demolish a portion of it and relocate the programs that are currently in CERC. What that will do is free up a lot of the problems and a lot of the traffic.
Some of the students had some foresight, asking what would happen if the bond did not pass. Mrs. Giannopoulos touched on a few primary issues that the Board of Education may face in that situation with potential cuts to programs. LOHS Associate Principal Kyle Medier made it a bit more real, pointing out how it could affect the students' bottom line as well.
Pay to participate fees are relatively new over the last couple of decades, and that has been an add-on when schools have said, all right, this is not classroom learning, it's still important to our school, so we're going to add this pay to participate fee to fill a budget hole that otherwise we wouldn't be able to fill. So that $325, or whatever you said it was, that goes towards making sure those programs can stay intact. Well, Mrs. Joplo said some of these fixes need to happen whether or not the bond passes. So the pay to participate fee is one area of revenue that the district could look at.
The students watched the bond video that explains many of the reasons the Board of Education felt a bond was necessary at this time. Finally, the students gave their input about ways to help reach the community to provide more information about the proposal. Homecoming week is always a thrilling scene in Lake Orion. It begins with the homecoming parade, starting behind Blanche Sims Elementary, where the parade participants are lined up to begin the event, incorporating this year's theme, Star Wars. As the cars roll out, the streets fill with students throughout the district, from the elementary schools through the high school clubs. Each group walks with a sign or a matching apparel to signify its affiliation. The week continues with the Powder Puff Girls flag football game, which has evolved into a serious sport with a few days of practice for the juniors and seniors until the sides square off on the Thursday of homecoming week. This year, the seniors prevailed by 1 point in the matchup. On Friday, all of Lake Orion High School gathered in the field house for the annual pep rally, filled with competitions between the 4 grades, each showing their class pride. The football game followed with a decisive win over Bloomfield Hills, and the halftime featured a dance and cheer performance, plus the band putting on a show. Seniors Justin Kepler and Michaela Allen were named the king and queen at halftime. The week concluded with the Saturday night homecoming dance at Lake Orion High School. It was a long week with the best of Lake Orion's spirit on display until next year.
Thank you so much for viewing the October edition of Inside the Dragons. We look forward to sharing great news again with you in November.
Inside the Dragons is produced by the Lake Orion Community Schools in partnership with Orion Neighborhood Television. For up-to-date news and information about the Lake Orion Schools, visit our website at lakeorionschools.org. And watch us on Comcast Educational Access Channel 22 and AT&T UVerse Channel 99.